chance here. They still have Mount Vernon. They still have
Yep.
Lexington. So there's a chance to get some wins there before the season ends and carry that into next season as you're trying to rebuild.
Coach V ain't putting a goose egg up in the win column. I'm
I don't
making
think
that
so.
prediction right now. All right, let's show you who did do that tonight as we bring up the OCC scoreboard. 4 winners, 4 losers tonight in conference play. West Holmes, 41-0 was the score at the half of that one, fellas.
Oh, my goodness.
They're dangerous.
They're dangerous, and yeah, like we talked about too, they're state championship dangerous. Like it's them and Glenville if we look at that.
Well, and they
region.
dropped to Division 4.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing about it too. They were a state Final Four team in Division 3, and they just slid down to 4. Although that region of 4 is legit. That's a solid region.
And then you look at the new Philly score as well. So all blowouts tonight within the conference. And Mount Vernon showing that they're definitely the bottom feeder of the group. New Philly, they can play some really solid defense week to week.
Yeah, they can play solid defense, and it's impressive to see them find the offense tonight. Granted, it was against Mount Vernon, who's been struggling, but still, with defense that good, if the offense ever figures it out, New Philadelphia is definitely going to be a team down the road in OCC play to watch out for.
All right, and we give you every single week some players and some plays to watch out for, the best of the best that we capture on our camera, and we let you, the people of North Central Ohio, decide, well, it doesn't really matter where you vote from, I guess. You can be on Pluto for all I care. And after we shook them up and gave them to you, here's our top play and our phenom from week number 5. We'll begin with our Friday night phenom, presented by Adena Corporation. And I don't think that's it, guys.
The suspense.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
This is
I
what we're
can't
gonna do.
wait.
Let's keep you guys on ice. When we come back from the break, we will unleash those to you, let you see who the winners were from week 5. And I can tell you this, though, at least top plays, not even close. One guy ran away with it. That's on the other side of the break.
I'm Garrett G-Man Parlett, and check out my new show, The G-Man Project, exclusively on the OH Report.
I'm Travis Big League Berardi. Catch me every week with my Country Roads rankings. We'll go over the small school top 10 football schools here in the area.
Number 1 receiver coming from the Shelby Whippets, Isaiah Ramsey.
He's caught our attention over here, and we're certainly going to keep an eye on the Willard flashes.
We will see you next week on the Stat Leaders, brought to you by Spitzer of Mansfield.
What's up, America? Brian Skoronsky here, and if you want to see me and the gang chop it up with some unintelligent conversation, we've got the show for you. Check out the OH Report video podcast every Monday, exclusively, right here on the OH Report. back here on the Pigskin. When we make promises, we deliver. That's right, folks. You guys voted on the best play of the week as well as the Friday Night Phenom, and it is time for the grand unveiling. So let's go ahead and drop those videos. We'll begin with your Friday Night Phenom from week number 5. And with 38% of the vote, it would be me. Again, I'm the Phenom. No, I'm not. It's Ashland's Luke Bryant, who went 12 of 20 through the sky, put up 224 pass yards, a 4-pack of tutties, as well as the Arrows went on for a big win at home over Mount Vernon, in large part because of the play of one Luke Bryant. And now for the top play of the week. Oh, that's right. We got a double dose of Arrows action coming at you. Check it out. It's Caden Van Tilburg. You can't go much farther than this. 99-yard house call, taking it all the way to the crib for a huge Ashland score. That's why he gets the top play of the week to go along with his teammate as your Friday Night Phenom. So big congratulations to the entire community of Ashland for getting out, showing some support, weighing in with the votes. And it wasn't even close for the top play. 52% of you out there thought that this was the best that you saw. So, again, we do appreciate all your votes coming in each and every week, and we deliver them to you here live and free on the Pigskin. But it's time now to switch things up and get back to the moving pictures. I'm going to toss it over to K-Mac Trav, and he's got some K-Maction.
Yeah, and we're going to start off with a team that usually wins the top play in Phenom, but they didn't have any players because we didn't cover them last week, and that's the Centerburg Trojans, a team Hayden Yak Gray, as I say in the stat leaders, the king of the yards after catch. But looking at this team, Centerburg going against Cardington tonight, a team that is #1 with Danville in the KMAC, a team that, kind of surprised me, as Eric Wills said earlier, a squad that, they graduated a couple receivers, they graduated their quarterback, but, Tyler Johnson steps in at the quarterback spot, Kalen LeMaster is back, and, after that week 1 loss, they're looking to roll, and let's roll right to the highlights of them hosting Cardington Lincoln tonight. We're going to start off with Kalen LeMaster, and he's going to rumble in from 5 yards out to start the scoring. It's 7-0 Trojans. But wait, there's more. Remember that guy, Tyler Johnson?
Sure do.
Yeah, well, he's going to take it himself, weave through traffic, get hit at the line, but he is in from 20 yards out. But those Cardington Lincoln Pirates, they are going to try and answer back. Caden Beach, who had a couple big plays in their loss against Northmore, well, he's just going to let his friends push him into the end zone to cut the lead to 7 on a 3rd and goal touchdown. But once again, those Centerburg Trojans, Tyler Johnson is going to find Jesse Rings on the out, perfectly thrown in traffic. He reaches into the end zone. It is 21-7, but Cardington once again trying to bounce back. Caden Beach, he's going to look for Ashton Plowman, and he is going to throw a dime to 4 guys looking after him. He gets the touchdown. It's 21-14 at the break. But to start the second half, Tyler Johnson, so fast we missed half the highlights. 77 yards, though, to pay dirty, beat everyone. His second rushing touchdown of the game. And then Kalen LeMaster is just going to take over and dominate this one. First off, from 6 yards out for the score to end the third quarter, and then into the fourth. Your picture is not wrong. It is LeMaster one more time. This time, he's going to weave through traffic, break a tackle, break another tackle, and run into the end zone from 16 out for the score. And then Centerburg, he's going to put a bow on top of it from 41 yards out. Just watch him run, Hayden. 21 carries.
Beautiful sight.
$199, 4 touchdowns. He was sitting at 11 in our stat leaders coming in on Thursday. And I think we'll look, see if Addison Raymer and company gets at least 196 yards. But I think with this effort by Kalen LeMaster, 21 carries, $199 and 4 scores, he's going to break into the top 10 in the stat leaders, along with Tyler Johnson, who's sitting in the top 5. It's crazy that this Cardington team can do after I said losing some key players last year, they're back and they look like they want to make a run at the KMAC championship.
I think they do, and I'm very impressed by these guys. And like you said, I think that there will be a couple of those that move up on the list as individuals, but Centerburg Trojans keeping things locked in on that KMAC competition. Another team that, Travis, I know you're our resident expert. I don't know if you can count them out yet, but Mount Gilead.
Hey, they got some rushers as well, and against the team that won it last year, the East Knox Bulldogs. You have the highlights of the Bulldogs hosting Mount Gilead. So
sure do.
My friend.
So let's find out how Mount Gilead treated East Knox on homecoming tonight. First off, we're going to start off with Jax Lester hitting Carson Steinman's 70-yard pitch and catch.
Look at the moves.
As the Bulldogs would strike first.
I love those jerseys too, Hayden, the yellow and
You got to bust out the yellows on homecoming. Be 0-6 East Knox in the first quarter. Missed the extra point, and then Matt Bland.
Oh, no.
Read
House
the bubble.
Call.
5-yard pick six. Mount Gilead would convert the 2-point conversion as well to go up 8-6 in the first. Then Bland's going to find Owen High with a dot in the back corner of the end zone while evading the pressure. 16-6 in the second quarter before we go to the break. Then Garrett George is going to take a handoff from Matt Bland himself for an 8-yard touchdown to put the final touches on this one, 22-6. Mount Gilead takes one from East Knox, from the Bulldogs on homecoming. How could they do it, Travis?
Well, I mean, George and Bland, they were sitting at, 5 and 6? In our stat leaders, both over 100 carries, both now over 700 yards rushing. Mount Gilead, a team that usually they're sitting in the cellar of the KMAC. They had a tough loss. Fredericktown last week comes back and gets the win, but Mount Gilead's still hanging around right there. They're making some noise, and they're sitting around in the playoff race. And speaking of one Fredericktown team, they hosted Northmore, a Golden Knights squad that lost to Danville. The Blue Devils, got that upper hand with Centerburg in the KMAC with a win last week. But can the Golden Knights, without Max Lauer, without one of their top receivers as well, because Hunter Falk, because of an ejection last week, a tough play ejection, if you would say. But can they bounce back at Fredericktown? Let's go to the highlights against Teagan Rule and Company. And it was a defensive first half, and the only scoring comes right here. Snap over the punter's head. It's 2-0 at the break. Go to the third quarter, Ben Mast. Andy literally just said they really haven't taken a shot downfield right before this was thrown. He finds Grant Hartley 51 yards. Extra point good. It's 9-0. And then Teagan Rule, 5-yard touchdown rush. He had 116 yards on the ground, but Northmore, they would answer back. A.J. Bauer, look at this pass. 27 yards to Bo Landon. Makes it 15-7. But right back at you later in the fourth, Cade Carpenter, a 1-yard run. That would make it 22-7. But wait, Northmore once again looking to get back into it. Bauer finds Griffin Haley, 5-yard touchdown pass, 2-point conversion is good. They go for the onside kick. Can they get it? Can it be like Jets Browns? No, it cannot, because Ben Mast, the quarterback, recovers it. He kneels on the ball twice, and the Fredericktown Freddies come out with a big win. They remain with one loss in conference. Their other loss was to Highland, 17-13, the first game of the season. But Highland's now in the MOAC, so that doesn't count as a KMAC loss. And Fredericktown still has a path to a KMAC championship. They need help with Centerburg. If Centerburg beats Danville in a couple weeks, then that Freddieburg matchup at Centerburg could determine Centerburg, if they get that win against Danville, they'll win it outright with a victory, or can Fredericktown make it 2 straight in that rivalry and earn a share, kind of like what we saw last year. But let's take a look to see if Danville was able to get a win in our scoreboard. And yes, taking on Loudonville, a tough game, but Danville pulls out 19-7. And in the other 3 games, well, we had highlights because we love the KMAC here at the OH Report. And one of their score, Hillsdale, worth noticing, Hayden, 27, a big win for Hillsdale. Doughton knocked off Lucas, made it to a regional championship last year, brought a lot back, but the Falcons, the opening drive took 6 minutes. They went up 7-0, and they were up 20-12 after 3, put another score on late, made a couple defensive stops to the Falcons. They are still in it in Division 7, Region 25, moving up the rankings with that big victory, Hayden.
Yeah, nice job. It's been an up-and-down season for Hillsdale. I mean, their wins, it's almost a little bit confusing, but with a win over Lucas and now Doughton, certainly got to help them when it comes to those computer points come playoff time.
So, yeah, Centerburg and Danville still at the top of the KMAC. Fredericktown now with Mount Gilead 1 game back. big games also coming up here in the Northern 10 as we're going to take a look, and you can take it over, Hayden.
Yeah, Cary, the Blue Devils, the defending state champs, would be taking on Colonel Crawford tonight. We had someone there. Let's check out how that one went. Obviously, the battle of the unbeatens, the two top dogs in the Northern 10 going at it. Cary hosting Colonel Crawford hosting Cary, and it would be a rough night. You're going to see Rickle connect with Doug Pinkerton.
Defensive battle, yeah.
And just get sworn by a couple of Eagles, and this would continue to go back and forth. Defense flying all around the field. Here you see Dyer struggling to even find any room to breathe, as well as, Cameron Lauer. Another good performance from him, but not enough to get the job done and find the end zone. So I think this might have lived up to the hype, Travis, but just might have not been as high scoring as we may have expected.
Well, defenses win a championship, and you saw that with Cary in their run last year. But Colonel Crawford, too, this is a tough squad that they have. Both teams are putting points up left and right. And speaking of points, Crawford could only manage a field goal and lead 3-0 at the half. A couple, back and forth defensive battles. Both teams just going at it. Crawford then in the second half looked like they might be taking the advantage here. They fumble, though. Cary picks it up, drives down the field, and, we wanted to give you, make you wait a little
Element
longer.
of surprise.
But roll it and show them how this game ended, Hayden.
Yeah, so who else would it be other than Lance Rickle? He's going to throw a deep, dramatic 36-yard deep ball to the corner of the end zone that would get brought down, the night's only touchdown. You couldn't have drawn it up in more dramatic of a fashion for Cary to get the job done against Colonel Crawford. It was worth the wait. It was worth the suspense. And Cary,
21 in a row. I think that was the Northern 10 championship game right there because that was such a great battle. We saw what Crawford did to Seneca East earlier in the season, too. We thought maybe they'd have a chance, but I have a feeling this is going to be Cary winning the Northern 10 championship, going undefeated yet again. And will we see Colonel Crawford and Cary Part 2 in the playoffs, or will it be set up to where we get Cary Crestview before that, Part 3 in the playoffs? I don't know, but these two teams are playoff worthy. And Hayden, let's go look at the scores from the rest of the Northern 10.
Yeah, let's do it. Obviously, you just saw Cary and Colonel Crawford 7-3. Seneca East bouncing back after a loss to Colonel Crawford last week, taking down Buckeye Central 33-15.
It was only 14-7 Seneca East at the half, but then they outscored the Bucks 19-8 in the second half for the victory.
Upper Sandusky would fall to Mohawk, who, turn of events there, 28-7 would pick up a win over the Rams.
Yeah, this is looking more like the Mohawk squad we were expecting before the season. It was 8-0 Mohawk. They then went 86 yards in the final 38 seconds of the half to take the lead, and then in the second half, Zayden Fry broke the game open with a 40-yard pick six.
The Winford Royals would pick up their first victory of the season, taking down Bucyrus 20-14.
Bucyrus scored first. It was back and forth, then Cohen Keith, a 3-yard run with 1:25 left in the third, became the difference, 20-14.
Last win for Bucyrus, 97.
So, yeah,
Wow.
97, the last win for Bucyrus.
streak
They
to
wanted
end.
it bad, but the Royals still pull it out. And it's, I'm trying to do math in my head right now. It's like 25 years. Wow. I'm sorry, folks down at Bucyrus. You had a chance there, but Winford pulled it out. And then one more score, Hayden.
Yeah, and then finally Calvert would get blanked by Margaretta tonight, 30-0 to wrap up things on the Northern 10 side of the board.
Jake Boggs, 20 carries, 147, and a touchdown for the Polar Bears.
And that is your Northern 10 scoreboard. Keep it here with us. We're going to kick it to one more break. We'll be back with more scores and highlight ready for you right here on the OH Report.
Live and free.
Live and free.
I'm Garrett G-Man Parlett, and check out my new show, The G-Man Project, exclusively on the OH Report.
I'm Travis Big League Berardi. Catch me every week with my Country Roads rankings. We'll go over the small school top 10 football schools here in the area.
number 1 receiver coming from the Shelby Whippets, Isaiah Ramsey.
He's caught our attention over here, and we're certainly going to keep an eye on the Willard Flashes.
We will see you next week on the Stat Leaders, brought to you by Spitzer of Mansfield.
What's up, America? Brian Skoronsky here, and if you want to see me and the gang chop it up with some unintelligent conversation, we've got the show for you. Check out the OH Report video podcast every Monday, exclusively right here on the OH Report.
Hello and welcome back to the Pigpen Storm Blanchard, of course, joined by my good personal friend as well as phenomenal colleague, the illustrious Garrett Parlett. But Garrett, I want to waste no time. Let's get right into these highlights. Shelby versus Galleon. It all went down as we take a look here. It would start off with Landon Kurtzman. He recovers a fumble in the end zone to start off the scoring for Galleon. Next up would be Isaiah Ramsey, 52 yards down the field, so fast our cameras couldn't even catch him. That would be a big score. I think that would open up the scoring for the Whippets. Next up, Poison Ivy, an 8-yard touchdown run here, and he's Hemi Neutron. He's that guy, G-Man.
He's him.
He's him. That would make it 13-7 in favor of Galleon. Next up, Skylar Winters faking out the cameraman. 10 yards rush for him into the end zone. And I believe, finally, Landon Campbell here in 1 second. Here it is. Landon Campbell, 18-yard pitch and catch to end out the second quarter and end out the scoring, I guess, to make it 34-27, your final in favor of Galleon. And Galleon playing inspired football, man. That's a big win over Shelby. And like Eric Will was saying, it's the wild, wild west over there in the MOAC.
Yeah, Storm, I picked Galleon to have a pretty solid year so far. Shelby's been up there, the cream of the crop, with obviously Clear Fork upset Shelby here tonight at home, so a big win for the Tigers.
Let's just take a look at our MOAC scoreboard now, see all the scores from around the area. Take a look. Clear Fork beating Ontario 48-28 in a shootout. Galleon, winning 34-27, as you saw in the moving pictures. Highland 42 over Harding, who scored 28, and River Valley putting up a 60-burger over Pleasant 64-7. And those will be your MOAC scores from the night, Garrett. But I think that there's something that we all want to talk about, at least me and you. We're rejoicing tonight.
Yeah, Storm.
We're not homers, man.
We weren't at this game, but I'm glad we're at least going to get to show some highlights to you guys. Let's just roll the pictures here. Lucas traveling over to Scott Bailey Memorial Field. It will start off in the first quarter, of course. None other but Addison Raymer, 14-yard touchdown. Great blocking from the guys up front. That would make it 7-0 here early in favor of the Cougars. Devin Holloway, the dude,
the senior.
He's been perfect all year long. That makes it 10-0 in favor of the Cougars in the second quarter, right before half. And then this will come in the third quarter. Of course, Addison Raymer, 5-yard touchdown run. 17-0 in favor of the Cougars. They're beginning to blow this one open, but Lucas would have a gasp of life here as Andrew Smollen's going to hit Corbin Toms with a beautiful ball, 33-yard touchdown pass. It's 17-6. And then the fourth quarter in the late stages, Owen Barker, 18-yard touchdown to try to end this one. But they're not done yet, Storm. Owen Barker is going to have another big play on the next possession. First play from scrimmage. They're going to send a guy in motion, and Barker's going to blow this puppy up, force a fumble, and Sean Bailey with a 30-yard touchdown, scoop and score to put the nail in the coffin as Crestview runs all over Lucas, 31-6.
Look at the lights.
One of the games that everybody circled, when this was first announced last year, and Crestview able to do so and win that one, 31-6 over at Scott Bailey Memorial Field. So what a performance for the Cougars. But let's move on to all the scores in the Firelands Conference and see what happened around the league. It was a very interesting night when I was putting some of these scores in. Storm, St. Paul, they've been getting going after the dismal start. They beat Plymouth 35-20, and then a big one that I saw: Western Reserve shutting out Mapleton just 2 weeks ago.
Western Reserve's good, man.
Western Reserve a little doubted. They played with Crestview a couple weeks ago. They won that one 31-0. South Central keeps Monroeville unbeaten, or excuse me, Not a win on the season so far, 28-21.
The opposite,
South Central,
the opposite.
I was trying to find the word, but I couldn't. Huron 66, Willard 35. So even in a loss, Willard still putting up 30-plus points. But speaking of Huron versus Willard, Storm, we got some perfect highlights
What a
over
game,
with
man.
Mr. Travis and Mr. Brian. So let's send it over to the boys.
Wow. A, perfect highlights, and then B, he said Mr. Like we're some
respect.
real gentlemen.
Love you, G.
I feel like we really got to come through on this highlight. So
Great job over in the pig pen too, boys. That was,
Love it.
Yeah, homers.
Love it.
Homers, but hey, they do well.
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's show you how this thing played out. It was 2 4-1 teams meeting up over at Willard. You know, a lot on the line, trying to stay in the league title hunt for the SBC Bay Division.
And the leading passer in all of the area, and Isaac Robinson, he's at 1,789 going in tonight.
And the leading scoring team in the entire Buckeye State in Willard. So here they are, meeting head to head, toe to
Coin
toe.
is flipped, and there you wait. That's basketball, isn't it?
I think so. So it's 10-0 already in favor of the Tigers before Bo Harkleroad. He's going to take the hard road into the end zone, fighting through traffic like he's in L.A., you know, just trying to get through, go to work or
That
something.
is a hard road.
52-yard punt return touchdown. That would make it 17-zip.
Oh, there's
Flashes
Robinson.
starting to battle back. That is Isaac finding Carson Hammonds all alone. He's going to cruise in from 60-plus. Cuts the deficit down to 17-7, but Dylan Huller and the boys were on a whole nother level. Here's Donnie Hartley. That would push it back out to a 17-point lead. Fast forward now to the second half. Huller bowling his way into the end zone. That was 52-7 to count at that point. Tigers were going to win 66-35 after emptying out the bench. Huller had a 5-pack of touchdowns. And even though Willard was able to get theirs, it all came in garbage time. They were down by 47 points or something before Huller came out of the game. So what I learned tonight, just from watching that highlight, is that he's pretty good. His mom messaged us at the very beginning of the year and said, you might want to see these Tigers in person before they started. My kid's kind of a big deal. He was pretty good tonight.
Yeah, kind of a big deal there. Some big plays over a Willard squad. I said in the Country Roads rankings, I think this was a big determining game for them to see. Are they for real? Are they just able to beat, you know, some of the lower squads and whatnot? But you know what? A tough loss against a good Huron squad. Can Willard now bounce back from a tough loss and continue their path towards a playoff spot? And can Robinson still get the 3,000 yards? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting if he can be the second quarterback in Willard history to do something like that.
Well, I'm glad that you brought up the postseason. Let's dive into some of the races that are going on right now. Travis, where shall we begin?
Hey, let's start in Region 10, Division 3, because I am the Lenardi Berardi. Mansfield Senior, as of right now, our friend at Joe Idle, trying to put the scores and everything in, but as of right now, Mansfield Senior, number 4. That would be 2 of the home games, and then once they got to a neutral site, they'd be the home team for number 3. So that's where they sit. Ontario down at 13. Lexington still at 16. 2-4, despite the loss, they're sitting at 16. Let's go on to Division 4, Region 14. Shelby dropped to number 12. Wow. Galleon up to number 10 with the win. Clear Fork, no. They're climbing back up. They're at number 5 right now at 5-1, sitting just less than a point behind Van Wert. Glenville at 1. West Holmes at number 2. You got to think that's a regional championship matchup right there. Glenville, West Holmes. But you never know. It's the playoffs. Now to D6 Region 22. Cary, the big win. They're 6-0. Number 1. Who's number 2, Brian? Who do you think?
In 22? Crestview?
It'd be the Crestview Cougars. Yes, they were at 3. They're at number 2 now. Crawford drops to 5th right now behind Columbia Station and Northwestern. Seneca East also number 10. Mapleton, 14. Winford with the win. Their first win, they're up to 18. They're 2 spots back. Bucyrus just behind them. Now to Division 6, Region 23. The Golden Knights of Northmore down to 10. Who's up to number 9? Mount Gilead. Mount Gilead up there with a couple of wins. They're at 4-2. Northmore right there at 4-2 at 10th. Loudonville, 14th. East Knox, 17th. They can somehow knock off the Golden Knights. They're right back into the playoff talk. And finally, Division 7, Region 25, the Lucas Cubs, they dropped to 9th right now. They're just ahead of South Central. Hillsdale, their big win against Dalton, they're up to 7. St. Paul, up to 5th. Hi, Hayden. Danville, with their win, they're up to 3rd. JFK, the big score of the night. Warren JFK lost to Mogador. Lucas fans, they lost to Mogador. I think it was 28-13 was the score. It was 28-13. You just got to think if Lucas,
They were
a
so
couple
close
of
in
those
that
games.
game. If they didn't cough it up 3 times in the fourth quarter, would have been a huge win for the Cubs.
But that also kind of brings things back because we thought JFK would be running away with it, but
Sure.
now it makes you think if Lucas can fight with a Mogador team that just pretty much handled JFK, you never know. You never know. So that's my quick Lunardi recap of the playoffs. We'll get more into it as we get into weeks 7, 8, and 9, but I was so excited to get into the playoff talk, so let's just do it right now. So there you go.
Thank you
now
for that
informed.
breakdown, Trav. I can't imagine Lucas not getting a home game in the playoffs. So
If they win out, they still got a couple big. Hi, Hayden. If they get a couple. I know. I don't know what you're creeping behind me. I'm like, what are you doing? If Lucas can win out, they're probably still going to get a top 5 because they have such a hard schedule and all those playoff points. So it would be tough to see if they don't get into the top 8, but they got a shot.
all right, news team assemble, and here they are. And what are we doing next Friday night?
Football?
You guys want to find out?
Let's do it.
Let's see what we're going to have for you guys on the Pigskin. And then live and free, of course, TY Tigers against Ashland. That game's got a lot of juice now, especially with both teams winning tonight, each at 4 and 2 arrows, though, in first place in the conference.
Say that again?
Wait, did I get that right?
Yeah,
I think so.
It's crazy about the start they had to the season, and they're right back in it. But West Holmes steamrolling Worcester too. They're still in it. Also, a team that's steamrolling squads, Crestview.
Yeah, 6-0. South Central's got a couple exciting players. Tough place to play at Scott Bailey Memorial. They have got the atmosphere dialed up out there. Cougars looking to go to 7-0 for the second straight regular season, man. Been dominating.
They're a pretty good squad.
Clear Fork returns home. They're going to have Pleasant, a team that they should handle. Lots of fireworks potentially for the Colts out in the Valley. And speaking of fireworks at football games, Lucas would love to see some at home. Lima Central Catholic, though, coming to their place. Cubs, could they be in danger of a 3rd straight loss?
I don't want to think about that. That's just
Whoa.
that's just weird. If they can get the win, they're right back in talk for getting 2 home games. But if they lose, I mean,
That's a huge one.
yeah, that's a very big game at Bob Wine Field. And are they going to lose 2 straight at Bob Wine? A lot of storylines. I don't want to think about it.
All right, well, let's turn the page then. Winford, hey, big win for them. Can they make it 2 in a row against Buckeye Central? And then Northmore on the road in Howard, one of the happiest places on earth. Can the Bulldogs make it a little bit more smiling for the home fans if they can get a big win?
At least get the horn to go off a couple more times.
You know that's going to happen no matter what. All right, one more page for you guys. Ontario and Galleon, some MOAC action all the way around with Highland hosting Shelby. The Whippets trying to bounce back. Galleon riding high, definitely playing some inspired football. Both of those are going to be fun games to watch.
It's always fun on the OH Report.
We try to have a good time here on the Pigskin, but our time is up. We got to get out of here, and you guys got to get to bed, man. Come on. It's way past midnight. See you next Friday, though.